everyone. Welcome back to Sideshow Collectibles. I'm Jeff May, super excited to bring a rare sneak peek at an amazing piece. Check this out right here. We have the Spider-Man Advanced Suit 1/3 scale statue by PCS, as popularized by the amazing game Marvel's Spider-Man. We're going to take a look at this, and not only that, but I am joined by one of my favorite people in the world. Host, personality, all around good guy to know, Coy Jandreau. Coy, thank you so much for joining me.
This is I just like, I also all those things, and Spider-Man Zealot is like the asterisk of my name.
Yes.
So this is just everything.
Official Spider fan, Coy Jandreau. Had you around here, had to pull you in so we could take a look at this. Now this is so cool. This is a very, very rare opportunity that we have right here because we just got this back. We just got this. This is a very cool prototype. And the piece here, we want to take a look at this. I am super amazed at both the base that we have here and the detail that is put into this piece. Now, Coy, you told me something really funny about this game, right?
So I hadn't played a video game, like any game, since Spider-Man on PS2 until they announced Marvel's Spider-Man, and I actually pre-ordered the Spider-Man PS4 just for this game. So I have the red with the white, like right across the top, like the staggering, beautiful PS4 that is this game. And I sight unseen, I hadn't played the game, hadn't played a preview, because I hadn't touched a game since 2007.
And what'd you think of the game?
It changed my life. I didn't stop for 3 days. I canceled plans. I actually did not see people on purpose.
He's like, it was a problem.
I'm now back to being a gamer, but only this game. So seeing this in person is... the detail work, the folds here where he would need the extra space to actually use the articulation that Spider-Man, his agility, they actually have some detailing there. And then the actual webbing in the eyes, not like webbing per se, but the details in the eyes that show the reflective
quality. The little
quality.
hatching in there, yeah.
Yeah, because it's a double-sided mirror.
One of the cool things about this that I really like is the pose.
Yeah.
The first thing when I saw it, because this was, and I can't stress this enough, wheeled in in like a security situation.
Yeah.
It was like watching somebody bring like a president in.
It was
or
like
something.
Vegas when they've got all of that and you're like, oh no.
And the one thing that I couldn't stop noticing it is just how well put together this is from base to pose.
Yes.
The pose is a very Spider-Man pose. It's got that kind of exaggerated foot forward, that sort of McFarlane push of the foot in there. The hands, really, really cool. Very, very sort of... I want to say like evocative of emotion here, of action, of movement.
Well, right? I love the kinetic nature of Spider-Man and how it's hard to make it exaggerated enough to be Spidey in a real 3D setting. Like it's hard to translate Spider-Man because he is like the McFarlane exaggeration. So to have a 1/3 scale look this dynamic, like they really got Spidey.
Yeah, and another cool thing, and the first thing that you brought up, by the way, which was really funny, was the base.
Oh God! I mean,
your
Mr.
first
Negative,
thing was you were just
kabuki.
like, look at that Mr. Negative base. And it's great too that you and I both immediately went to two different things.
Yeah.
Which I think is really, really cool. So we take a look at that base. It's obviously the Mr. Negative design here, but look at the sort of the contrast and the colors in there. It's kind of, and I'm not sure if our cameras are even picking up sort of the dynamic coloring, the bluish, grayish greens that are all mixed throughout that really bring this as a really strong piece. And look at the back there. It's got that sort of whirlwind pattern here.
And the details in the color, like you've got actual like gradation here, and it feels like it's moving because Mr. Negative's power set is so energetic, and everything about him like has these thrushes of power, and this is reflected in all of this.
I am stoked to be bringing that piece. I actually really like the costume design. My original initial reaction to the Marvel's Spider-Man design was me like, huh. It was kind of like, oh, that's what you're doing. And I have grown to this design. I have really sort of globbed onto it. I like the white spider design.
So beautifully.
It does. And my initial reaction was because I'm so used to the black sort of muted spider pattern in there, that to have something that was that kind of flashy. And then I was like, but Spider-Man is flashy.
It's also a great trace pattern for the game because he's moving so quickly and fast.
I got him looking at you on the camera. Look at that. He's looking at you.
But the hands and the feet having the traces of white along with the white spider, whenever you have him on screen, you can tell what motions he's making and where he's going. It's a great use of white.
It's really sharp. I do like that. I like the detail at the bottom of the foot. If you look at that,
I just love the sneaker approach. It's a great.
Yeah, it makes sense. The sort of the threading pattern, the like texture
And
on
it's
the
instantly
legs.
iconic. What I liked about the suit was that it reminded me of both Ben Reilly's new Spider-Man suit and the classic Spider-Man with a tad of Venom. Because
Yeah.
the white spider obviously reminds you of that beautiful flash of McFarlane. But remember when Ben Reilly took over Spider-Man, he had those like half leg and like the half arm? That reminded me of this so much, but it still feels iconically Ditko, Spider-Man, OG Peter Parker all at the same time.
Yeah, it mixes a lot of the things that you love about the designs of Spider-Man into one, and you wouldn't think. There is the possibility for you got chocolate in my peanut butter. You got peanut butter in my chocolate situation. And it works really well.
And that's a weird Venn diagram of those three very different flavors
Yeah.
to land anywhere, much less in a 3D element. Like this is a truly actualized version of that suit, and it doesn't look anywhere, doesn't look off.
Yeah, I like, and shout out to the folks, the kind folks at PCS. The lines coming down the back here. I'm so afraid. It's such a nice piece.
As it swings around, I'm like, it's too close.
I mean, they couldn't have been more on it when they were like, this is a prototype.
Please.
Do not destroy this. And I'm just like, okay, you put it on.
I will touch that and only that as it spins.
I'm not going to touch anything. I'm gonna the fact that I'm even touching the Lazy Susan here to spin it around, super nervous. I'm like, what would happen if the table collapsed?
No earthquakes in California.
But the piece is so strong and it's so dynamic. And I think as a 1/3 scale, when you look at something this big, you really have to knock it out of the park. And they really did. Like, look at that pose. Like, I'm gonna leave it in this position right here so the camera can really pick it up. But that sort of, the colors are so bright. It really is. This is I guess we'd call it a signature piece, a cornerstone piece. Like, this would be a piece that you would build a collection around.
I agree with that.
In a way. And sort of, if you're a gamer, more than, because like there's the Spider-Man aspect, but this was nominated, Marvel Spider-Man nominated for Game of the Year. So many awards were sort of thrown towards
Got me back after 12 years. I'm a personal bias, but I got a lot of people back.
Yeah, but I mean, that also stands to say that, there are a lot of there's a lot of Spider-Man merch out there. And this piece really does sort of scream out to those that really found something in the Marvel Spider-Man game. The people that did go out and buy an entire system and a game for it.
I was so impressed by the game building mythology that was new, but also reflected the character. There's so much heart in that Spider-Man story, and I love that the suit, like we were saying before, reflects so many different time periods, and so did the story. And then with the details of this is you can see things you can't see necessarily in the game because you do have this in front of you.
Yeah.
Like you can see the details where it like wraps around his calf, where that cloth would have to have that little bit of give. You see the different textures in the different types of cloth he would have had to use, and you can pause a PS4 game all you want. Having it right here, you'll get different flavors.
Yeah. And the realism in something that is inherently unreal.
Right, the impossibility of this
is a great addition to that. So I'm really excited. Now you can check this out. We got the right sort of here in the corner, but check it out. You can get in on that right now. Again, this is the Spider-Man Advanced Suit 1/3 scale statue by PCS. Obviously indicative of the amazing Marvel's Spider-Man. Coy, I am so happy to have had you here for this. I couldn't have picked a better person to show up and talk about this amazing piece with me. Don't forget, everyone, to check that out, and don't forget to let your geek side show. Hey, did you like that video? Be sure to subscribe by clicking the S icon on your screen and click that bell icon to be notified whenever a new video is posted. If you'd like more info on the items featured in this video, click the link provided under Product Info. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to let your geek side show.